This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everyone. Look at this. This is Djuma Private Game Reserve. Can you honestly believe it looks something out of a Halloween horror movie? But it's not. It's very much not. It is absolutely stunning. Another winter morning, but not a chilly one. It's actually really pleasant. We're not wrapped up in multiple layers. We don't have blankets on. It's misty for sure, but it is definitely not chilly. I really love mornings like this. We will be coming to you with 2 live safari vehicles from Djuma, one from Ngala and a Bushwalk from Pridelands. So on this very, very misty morning, everyone, let's get ready for your live bumble through the bush. Welcome aboard, everyone. The mist is rising. Those water droplets that are suspended in the air is dissipating, evaporating. Blue skies are coming, I can feel it. But I have to say, after the wind we had yesterday, I am very, very glad that that wind has disappeared. It was not fun on any level. But good morning, my name is Lauren and I do have BK on camera this morning. We're in the west, we're going to go west. We've been spending a lot of time in the south recently, so we thought, why not just go west, see what's happening along that side. The west, I always say it's a hit or a miss, but it's always, always worth checking. And I have no plans this morning other than to bumble. I try to make plans and it just never ever goes to plan. We had the Inkahumas, the Talamatis. The Talamatis were in Djuma, the Inkahumas were on Chitwa, but still in very, very close proximity to one another last night. And it's been a long time since both safari vehicles, Wendy and Rusty, have had lion prides each. It's been a really fantastic few days. So I'm just going to bumble today, find out where everybody is, where everybody's gone, and see what we can find. But as many of you know, this safari is live. It's happening as you see it. And it's interactive. So please do talk to us. Send in your comments and your questions using the hashtag WildEarth on Twitter. Or you can use @FC on the YouTube chat. Or another option, you can head over to the WildEarth website. And as long as you've registered, you can submit your questions under the live safari page. And kids, if you are watching on this beautiful Tuesday morning, please do send us your questions, but you send them in via email. And the email address is kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. This is so breathtaking. Earth lover, I think you've nailed it. That's exactly what I've been trying to say. The mist is both mesmerizing and scary at the same time. We're on Sandy Patch and we just stopped and we thought, wow. It's also good to stop to listen. That's also why we're stopping. But you're right, it's a little bit spooky, but it's also completely mesmerizing. It naturally limits your visual ability. We can't see as far, but that just means we'll drive slowly, admire it more, and hopefully pick up on some tracks. So as I bumble west, everyone, let's take a look at the weather across all our locations.
Good morning. Yes, indeed, it is a misty morning at Djuma. We're currently sitting at Gari Dam. It is a quiet morning here on this side of the reserve, but we're hearing a lot of birds everywhere. My name is Cedric. I have Darby on camera with me this morning. So our plan this morning is to drive maybe south from where we are now and see what we can pick up on. It is always beautiful to spend some time at the dam, but we have been here now for about 10 minutes and we didn't see anything. So I think what we're going to do is maybe start driving on Twin Dam Road towards Twin Dam. But you can see, I think the sunrise will be quite beautiful this morning. There's a bit of mist and also there's a few clouds, so it might be a bit dramatic to watch the sunrise. As you can hear, we're hearing some Egyptian geese. It echoes quite a bit here in that little valley, so it is quite nice. Okay, so let's start moving and see what we can find. Yesterday was a very big lion day. We are hoping for a leopard day today. We're not sure where the lions went yet, but we will check on them as well. It was so nice to see two different prides yesterday on the show at Djuma and Chitwa. It was not very cold this morning when we woke up, but now with the sun is going to start to make, we'll start to make its appearance soon. The cold day is coming down, so it's getting a little bit chilly. But I think it's going to get quite warm today, later. I do like to drive around this road because there's the riverbed next to us, so leopards love to walk in the riverbeds. It is just a little bit bumpy, I apologize for that. I hope the camera is not moving too much there. Lots of Aina trucks on the road. It has been very quiet for leopard the last few days. Maybe it's with all the lions activities around. They were a bit shy. I'm not sure where the Talamati went, so last night we left them on the south part of the property. Yeah, so they were on the south and now I'm not sure where they went. Yeah, not much on this road so far, but we didn't drive very long. When you drive like that, it is important to not drive too fast and look around and listen for any sign of alarm call, even if you can smell a carcass, for example. So all your sensors need to be on. The grass is still quite long for this time of the year. Very summer rain season, so it makes it a little bit difficult to spot cats lying in the grass. Okay, we'll continue here. In the meantime, we'll send you to JP, who's on a bushwalk.
Good morning and welcome to WildEarth. We're live at Eco Trading Pridelands and out on Bushwalk. The moment we were just enjoying that sun as it was peeking through the clouds and listening to the distant call of a lion that was contact calling. My name is JP Leroux and behind the camera we've got Gert. Our plan for this morning is to go and follow up and see what we can go and find. There was a lot of hyena activity also in the area last night, and we, as we mentioned already, the contact call of a lion. What's our plan? Let's go and see what tracks we can get, and then from there on we'll determine what we can go and see.
Still driving towards Phinda. There's a little open field here. Maybe we'll stop quickly and try to listen if there's anything happening here. Check that little water hole here. As you can see, the mist is still there. I do like to stop sometime in the morning and just listen. Because when you drive sometime with the engine noise, you can't hear everything. So I'm just going to stay quiet a little while. We're hearing a lot of birds, but not much apart from that. It would be nice now if maybe a leopard just decided to come drink at that little water hole where we are now. It can happen sometime that you're waiting at a water hole and you get a good surprise of one of the animals you would like to see. Just come down and drink. Okay, I think we'll start moving again and see what we can find.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ngala andBeyond Ngala Private Game Reserve. It is quite a nice morning. It's not that cold. Surprisingly, I thought since we're still in winter, it was going to be freezing cold. However, my name is Ruel, and behind the camera we've got Morgan. We are on our way down to the western side of the reserve, where there were the other half of the pride with the small youngsters found yesterday. We didn't go because we spent quite a lot of time with the Ngala female and youngsters, and then also with the white ones. And by the time we sort of decided to head out there, I realized that the sun was going to set, and because we can't view the cubs after the sun has gone down, decided it was not going to be worth our while going there. However, we're making our way that side. Hopefully, we'll drive around the areas where those lions were found yesterday, hoping that we might be able to find tracks around to see in which direction they could have moved from there last night. I've got no doubt in my head that they would have moved from there last night, maybe moved back to the central parts of our property or to this middle of their territory. So what we want to do is check the roads around where they were left yesterday, see if we'll be able to find tracks that will tell us which way they would have headed from there. The other news is that they were very close to our boundary road, which is our western boundary. And if they head further north and northwest, they could have easily crossed out of our property. But knowing the Birmingham, that will be getting into another lion's territory, putting the cubs at risk. Therefore, I am actually hoping, and high hopes, that they would have moved further south and east into our property. So we'll check those roads first while making our way up there. Try and see if we'll be able to find any tracks of some sort where they could have been hunting. Other thing I know is that a couple of months ago, that section in the western part of the reserve had a lot of rain. We had, in fact, a hailstorm at the beginning of winter. And now that section where the hailstorm went through, bright green, everything has started to grow. Leaves are fresh and green. So that are attracted to that side, because you can see where we're driving now, it's just a lot of dead grass, so there isn't much food. So I've seen, in fact, a lot of zebra and wildebeest and impala and giraffe and all of that close to the western boundary along that patch where the storm was. And I think that could also mean that this could be a very good hunting opportunity for some of these lions up there. So we'll see what happens when we get that side.
Nunu Road, and I was like, we are now on the northern boundary. I'm forcing myself. A lot of productivity in the south, but then no one's checking the north. So what's happening in the north? So I'm forcing myself just to do Bushwalk cut line. It's a good cut line, it's smooth. And if you're there early enough, you can obviously pick up on tracks. But if you're not early enough, a lot of vehicle traffic comes along. Sorry everyone, I'm just looking at the ground doing some tracks. Do you know, there's one hyena, and I remember Jamie Patterson warning me about this. She said there's one hyena, there's something wrong with its foot. And it really does look like a leopard. It will fool you, it will throw you every single time. And it does. Once you look closely enough, you'll see it's not a hyena. It's not a leopard, it is a hyena, but it will throw you when you're driving. Lions definitely crossed into the property. I'm going to try and show you this if I can. Okay, peaks. Here we go. I'm going to get my feather pointer now rather than my porky pointer. Now, this is our main road, really, so the vehicle traffic is very, very, very heavy. So you've got to sort of get early, and if you're not early, don't look at the middle because the tracks are going to be gone. Look at the side, and if you look at this is where it gets a little bit confusing. Where did I see it? here. You look at this one, Beaks, a hyena, obviously a hyena, you can't get that wrong. But then something else is happening. Here, you have two tracks merged in. Now this one is a lion, and here's the hyena. Now the hyena track clearly disturbs the lion track. So that means that the lion has walked first and naturally the hyena has followed, which really would make sense. We know that hyenas follow the predator. So this is a bit confusing, especially when you're on the vehicle and you've been following the hyena tracks. And then you think, hold on. So what you've got to do is keep following, keep looking, and then, aha, yes, now they're separate. Now you can see this is on thicker soil, which is a little bit harder to determine freshness, but this is a lion crossed into our property. But this one looks very, very fresh, and the fact that it's on top of vehicle tracks makes you think that, at some point last night a lion crossed in. It's hard, especially when you see all sorts of tracks jumbled together. We may loop around. I wish we could get access to all the lion activity on Bushwalk right now. It really is astounding what's happening over there. With the S8 male from the Ngala Pride, the Ngala Pride itself coming in, pushing further down south. Kruger males coming in on the east. Sorry everyone, I see a female leopard jack. This is why you gotta love cut lines. Okay, I think we will cut in at some point and check this block. They seem to be going in here. I would really like to see a leopard today, but I'm happy to just bumble and spend time with whatever. It has been a few days. We're trying to check around for Tandy and Maribes. Yesterday, Fanotti checked Torchwood. They don't appear to be on Chitwa. They're definitely not on Chitwa. But no one seems to know where they are, so maybe we'll work Cheetah Cut Line Central and see if we can just pick up on tracks. You've got to start somewhere and figure out where on earth are our dynamic duo. We were having Maribes every day for a while, and he gets spoiled and then disappears. And that moment is all over. But with the Talamatis on Chitwa, then and Kahumas, naturally. Torchwood is probably the safer place to be. Okay, I'm just going to continue scratching around here to try and understand what has happened through the night with the tracks.
Kate Gilman Williams is an 11-year-old girl from Austin, Texas, and we think she's amazing. At only 7 years of age, Kate went on safari and since then has become part of a new generation of kids who are fighting for animals. She has written a book, offered extensive support for a number of conservation projects, and recently teamed up with Microsoft to start a club. Kate believes that advocacy has no age limit and that if she waits until she's an adult, then it may be too late. Join Kate, who has traveled from Texas to sit with Lauren at the fire to discuss her work and how her generation can become part of the solution.
Hi, I'm Nikki, your guide here at andBeyond in Ngala. So my favorite animal in the African bush definitely has to be the zebra, because like people, With our fingerprints, every single zebra has a different stripe pattern. And, of course, a group of zebras together is called the dazzle. How unique is that? Come and join me or one of my colleagues here in Ngala for a sunrise and sunset safari on WildEarth.
This is a battle of two great carnivores of the African wilderness. Whew. Whoa! You don't want to be under those jaws. Definitely, this round goes to the lion. Look at that. Fantastic.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at andBeyond Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through andBeyond Ngala on WildEarth. Send me live questions through the WildEarth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush.
You guys can see we have that Birchel's cuckoo right in the middle of the road, still standing there. It's quite an interesting bird, a very big bird as well. One bird that likes to be in very thick bushes. I'm quite surprised that this morning we're fortunate enough to find it on the road, like in the wide open area. Looks to be cleaning itself or preening. What's also nice about the morning is once the sun starts to warm up, then you get to hear a lot of birds calling. When the heat starts to pick up a little bit, then you hear the different birds making the different sounds out here, and it's nice and quiet. It just gives us a very different atmosphere. But I am impressed that this Birchel's cuckoo is still on the ground and has not moved. There we go. Looks like it managed to find something down there. Looks to be getting closer and closer. Wonder how close it will get. Tommy, you're asking if we ever find the Birchel's cuckoo in pairs. Yes, I have seen them in pairs. And most of the times, we just get to see one. Also because they always perched in very thick or dense bushes. And they always just get into the middle of the thickets. But they are monogamous, so most of the time, there might even be two of them in an area. We just couldn't see the other one. But mostly we get to see one of them And even if you see one, it's just for a brief moment and it's gone. And I'm just excited and very surprised to see this guy here braving it out this morning. Such a pretty bird with a black color on the top of the head and a rustic color on its back and a bit of white from the chin down underneath. You know, I don't think anybody would be happy to be wetted very early in the morning, especially thinking that this bird has to fly. Imagine how cold it's going to get. I think that's why it's on the ground, rather foraging now, trying to get as much energy and hoping that the sun warms up very soon so it could quickly dry up. Levi, you're asking if the mist helps the prey or the predators. I don't think it helps either one of them. What it might do, it might give an advantage to the predators. I only think that because it's cold, when it's misty, those water drops, animals become a little bit cold and a bit wet. So, in a sense, they might lose a bit of focus and try and warm up a little bit and focus on getting to a much drier place where it warms up. Plus, when it's too misty, it's difficult to see a bit further. So therefore, making it a bit difficult to see if there are any predators coming up or ambushing that one animal. Remember, the most worrying animal out here is a prey animal, because like behind the bush, there could be a predator, there could be anything around there, and you would never know. All right, guys, we still have to try and find some lions for you. All right, so we're gonna leave this Birchel's Kukal. Was very happy to see a very relaxed Birchel's Kukal today. So we're gonna send you guys over to Cedric, and we'll see if we can manage to find some tracks of these lions this morning.
Welcome back with us. We just made our way now to Treehouse Dam. We found some lions tracks that we started to follow, but we got some report that they went west all the way. So I don't think we'll be able to see them if they crossed. So the tracks was going west on Gary Main. So we decided to come check Treehouse Dam. Still very quiet here at Djuma, not lots of report at the moment. And the dam is very quiet as well. So this is where we saw Dogman a couple of days ago with the honey badger as well. It is even very quiet for birds here this morning. Okay, I think while it's still cool, we might continue We're thinking maybe going to Tswalu a little bit later. See what's happening on that side. Yeah, but in the meantime, let's continue and travel south again. Okay, so we're going to head south again and make our way slowly to Tswalu. So, yeah, let's see what we can find on that side. It happens sometime in the morning, you drive quite a lot before you find something interesting. It's part of the game. So it's just Darvik cleaning the lens quickly. Still a little bit cloudy at the moment, so it's not that sunny yet. We're driving along the drainage line there, which is always good to check. Yesterday I did that road again and I did follow dog main tracks all around that area to find him with the pride on Philemon cut line. But I have the feeling now we might have, as I said earlier, we might have left the property, but never know. We'll still hear if there's any updates on them. Just looking if there's any trucks here. Yeah, can't see much, except for lots of hyenas trucks. Ah, very quiet start, huh? This does happen. As you know, we can't control the animals here.
We are trying to drive west, but I do know that in a few meters we might lose signals. So I will stop and give you some winter views for now. But it's a little tricky signal patch that we are going to try and work for a bit. And hopefully we're going to get an exciting sighting for you. Look at that winter landscape. As we bumble on west, we're going to send you guys over to rural.
What a beautiful animal that we have just found right now. Some zebra for you guys. And I know everybody's probably thinking the zebras are common and everywhere, and you'd think that you drive out here and get to see zebra every single day. Guys, I can tell you I struggled to find zebra with guests for 3 nights. So that goes to show how fortunate we become whenever we get to see an animal, whether it be an impala, whether it be a wildebeest, whether it be an extraordinary animal, or predator or prey. At the end of the day, there is absolutely no guarantee that we'll come out here and automatically start seeing animals. And I learned, struggle to find zebra for 3 whole days with guests, and that's all we're looking for. But at least we managed to find some right now for you guys. If you look at that zebra that's in the middle of your screen there, look at the mane up there. I like how the stripes go all the way to the top of the mane. You can see the black and white going up there as well. And actually, it's actually a good way to sort of tell if a zebra's healthy or not in a good condition, because all year round, zebras tend to look a bit big and in a healthy condition. Hold on. Look in the middle of that zebra's stomach. Looks like there are blood stains there. Do you guys see that? In the way those stains are, it looks like it could have been, looks like maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 claws. I wouldn't be surprised, because these are the perfect prey type for lions, and we are looking for lions this morning, and the lions were, well, relatively in this side. They could have somehow during the night encountered the zebra. Now that I talk about lions, looks like they all just want to leave and don't want to hear anything to do with lions. Well, we'll get to see if we find tracks along the road, maybe to show maybe this zebra could have run away, could have also scratched itself on anything while running at night and all that type of stuff. However, as I was saying about that mane, it helps us indicate if a zebra is in a good condition or not, because most times of the year, because zebras use microbacteria to digest, so their stomach is full of gas. That's why they always look fat, and it's not easy to see them thin out even in winter. But as long as that mane is standing upright, then we know that that zebra is in a good condition. And whenever that you see that mane start to drop to the side, then you can tell that that zebra is not in a good condition. So now looking at all of them, they look to be in a very, very good condition. Lee, you're asking if it's true that if a zebra's stripes helps keep flies away. I am not entirely sure. I have seen little bits of flies and small flies on the zebra, but I would have to rather find out properly on that one and come back and let you know. But I have seen some flies on the zebra, so I'm not entirely sure if that statement could be true or not. Sometimes it's one of the reasons you'd see zebras rolling in the dust to get that little bit of layer onto their skin so that these small flies don't bite them, because some of the flies bite them. Sometimes you see the zebra just shaking the skin, trying to get rid of these flies up there. It would be nice to actually find out what led to that, because most of the times people get information, and over the years their information gets should I say, withered, and it's no longer what it was originally. So there should be a reason as to why. You see how the zebra's attention is in the direction. It's the second time now I'm hearing Franklin's being disturbed. So I'm wondering, they could also be wondering what was it that startled those birds. They really need to learn and understand every different animal's alarm, because it's very important for them, especially if there's a predator in the area, and they need to pay attention to that so that they also know and aware that there is a predator in that direction. It helps them survive. So being able to read and understand, or listen and understand the different sounds that the birds would make when they're startled or not, is one skill that the zebra has to learn at an early age. Nazreen, you're asking at what age does a zebra become fully matured? Just between the ages of 3 and 5. Remember, with animals, sometimes they get weaned quite young and they need to survive. But for zebras, they're lucky because they would have the harem with them. So by the time that female or that young male is around 3 or 5 years, is already a full-grown. All right, guys, I think let's leave these animals here. Let us carry on with our original plan from this morning. Let us see if we can head further down west. Hopefully look if we could find tracks of lions or anything there. It would be very nice to see. I wonder what that little blood stain was on the zebra's stomach, or was it from? I guess we'll find out as we head further down to check if it was anything to do with these lions that we're looking for. Luke, you're asking if it's possible for a zebra to be born without stripes. Out here, anything is possible, and there's just not any record of it yet. So I've never seen or heard of one without stripes, but it's hard for me to say no because of that. And then 50 years from now, it happens. Remember, that might depend on the gene pool of that one individual animal. So but I think a black and white stripes is what defines a zebra. We're driving past a very open area where normally I believe, Klaus, you're asking if animals stay in the same, close to water in winter, or do they keep a general distance like they would do in summer? I personally think and have seen that there is a change in movement of the animals in the different seasons, primarily because in summer they don't really have to go to the dam to get water. There are puddles and small pans and all these things in the middle of the bush, in the blocks out there, where maybe an elephant was walking by, or maybe a place where animals will come to wallow for mud, and all that place that collects water. So these animals don't really have to go to a dam because there is water everywhere. But when it comes winter and all those dry out, they have to move big distances because around where there's water, there might not be a lot of food around the dams because a lot of animals would have concentrated there. So there would be a lot of food, say, in an area where there wasn't any water at all. So their movement becomes a lot more. They travel even further, not necessarily sticking around where there is water, but travel further to get to water and travel further back to get to feeding grounds. Where it's different for animals like waterbuck that are very water dependent. So those, when the water dries up in the middle of the blocks, have to move rather closer to the dams because they are very water dependent and they need to constantly keep drinking water.
One thing that WildEarth strives to achieve is to connect kids with our natural world. One person who agrees with this is Kate, an 11-year-old girl who founded Kids Can Save Animals to help inspire her generation to help mend the planet. Her motto is that kids may be young, but age does not define your impact. Kate is coming all the way from America to join us at Djuma for a live safari. She wants to connect with all of the WildEarth kids, answer your questions, and help you understand that there are plenty of ways that you can make a difference regardless of your age. So join us on the 4th of August at 2:30 p.m. Central African Time for a very special kids safari.
There's a grounding earthiness to this place that we feel in our ancestors. It's a place where, believe it or not, we evolved as a human species, and anyone who's come to Africa will understand that. The connectivity that the continent has to the person and to people's souls is next level. I'm thoroughly looking forward to taking you on your next adventure when we explore all the small and big things.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
Looks like it's a very difficult climb because every time it tries to climb, the ground is breaking, so it slides down. But it's the only one. Look at that. That is the call of desperation with a cub. It's like, what are you doing, mommy? Oops. Oof.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Hello, I'm Marna, your WildEarth Safari Guide from andBeyond Ngala. What I really like about connecting with WildEarth viewers is that we get to speak to viewers instantly and I get to show you this beautiful property. If you want to ask me a question, register on the WildEarth website. Simply head over to the live safari page and you can submit your questions there. Join me or one of the other guides twice a day on WildEarth.
Welcome back with us. We're currently at Tswalu Dam. It is a beautiful scene here. It is still misty here, and the sun is starting to get a little bit brighter, and there's not much wind, so it is very, very pretty. There was a beautiful fish eagle on one of the dead trees just next to the dam. Unfortunately, it just flew away now, but he was calling, so it was very, very nice. Hopefully we will hear him again. Otherwise, that's just some hippos, which is lying next to the little island there on the bank. But apart from that, unfortunately, it is quite quiet here as well. You can see there, probably they came back this morning from a long night of feeding outside the water. And now we're just resting. I can hear some ground hornbills in the distance. It is a very unique call. I don't think you will be able to hear it because it is quite far. But I can definitely hear them in the direction we are facing right now. So maybe a bit later when we move, we will probably drive in around there and look for them. What would be good now would be to drive around Chitwa and maybe find my ribs. That would be very, very nice. I'm not sure where he was last time he was seen, but I know he really liked Chitwa. So the ground hornbill call is quite unique. It goes woo, 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 woo. I'm not making the best impression of it now, but yeah, so this is a bit what it sounds like. I generally call a lot in the morning. Yeah, so we got some report that some lions crossed over to Aratuza. Megan, indeed, this is a stunning scene. Yeah, it's very peaceful sitting here, and I must say Dov is doing a great job with the camera. It is very, very beautiful. Sometimes it's so quiet and so peaceful that you can even forget to talk, you know. So let me stay quiet for just a little while and just let you enjoy. But of course, if you have any question, please send them. We're currently looking at some Egyptian geese next to the water there. It is a great place here just to have a coffee and enjoy the morning with the sun rising. There's lots of birds flying everywhere around us and on the dam. I'm just hoping that fish eagle come back close to us. Just looking around in my binos if I can't spot anything. But unfortunately, just about some hippos and some geese. And all the other different type of birds. Douglas, if I get it well, you're saying that this scene will make a very nice jigsaw puzzle. Yes, indeed. Chitwa Dam is always pretty. It is very, very nice. I like Gari Dam as well. The Chitwa Dam is very, very pretty. Especially in the morning when, about 2-3 days ago, we arrived here in the morning and there was this huge herd of buffalo on the plain just on our left there. And there was like hundreds of them. And it was misty, the sun was rising. It was a very, very beautiful scene. Just would like some action around here, though. Lee, you would like to know if there's crocodiles around here? Yes, I saw a few times. I saw the crocodiles, so there's definitely crocodiles in that dam. Obviously, the crocodiles can move from dam to dam. They can travel quite long distance at night, but I'm sure there's still crocodiles in there. We were watching the buffaloes 3 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, in the morning, and there was a big crocodile on the other side of the dam. I was hoping that maybe the crocodile could be a bit closer and try to catch a buffalo calf, but that did not happen. I never saw a crocodile kill an animal except from a fish one time, so it's still on my bucket list. It will be quite violent though. Yeah, so we'll sit here a little bit longer, but if there's nothing happening, I think we don't want to lose too much time. We will drive around Chitwa. And if we can't find anything here, go back on Djuma. To come back to the crocodiles, yeah, so sometimes they like to move to different dams and they can travel long distance at night. Even though they have very short legs and they are much more agile in the water, they can still walk quite far. Okay, so I think we will leave Chitwa Dam and start moving. In the meantime, we will... Sorry, I'll stop talking now because there was a fish eagle calling. Just try to make you hear it. In the meantime, we'll send you to Ruel, who's also at the water hole.
Guys, how fortunate are we to be able to find that? We just arrived at one of the biggest dams. Remember I said that there is a dam on the western side and all that. We'll get onto that now. But that is in front of you a juvenile African fish eagle. A very stunning bird. Of course, attracted to this area because there is a lot of catfish in this dam. And it being a fish eagle, it becomes one of the best hunting grounds, especially in our property. This is one of the few dams with fish in it. I can see the second one is just going to be, it is way far from where we are. I can just see the white on the head of that. Look at it fly. There you can see the white on that big green tree there. That is the adult fish eagle. Perched on the other side of this dam. It is quite a beautiful dam to be on. And you can see that whole dam there. It's a pity that throughout the drought, this dam was starting to dry out and we couldn't see, or there wasn't any water left. It was just mud left in the middle. It was amazing to see a few of the hippos trying to stick around, guessing that there was one of the territorial bulls or the dominant bulls sticking around in his territory. But I'm sure he was glad when the rains came back and it started filling up again. but I haven't seen any tracks of lions anywhere around this area. So we're gonna check further down and then come back up and then see if we'll take the next road. So for now, let's send you guys back to Cedric, and then we'll carry on looking for these lions. Hopefully we'll find them.
So while we were driving alongside the dam, we did find a crocodile. Well, one of the crocodiles, just swimming along there. So there we go, we have proof that there are crocodiles in that dam. It's amazing how effortless it looks when they swim. They're obviously they have a lot of power in their tail, so we can just move their tails softly and they will go forward. Oh, not sure where he's heading out now. Well, where it's going. It looked like he want to cross the dam. It looked like very prehistoric when you look at the back of the crocodile with all the scales. So we normally dive underwater for a few minutes, but we can stay underwater up to 30 minutes, which is quite a long time. Even the crocodiles swimming here make it very peaceful. Leopard, you love the sound of birds in the morning, and you're asking if they are more active in the morning. Yes, in the morning we hear a lot the birds, because they spend the night sleeping, well, for most of the type of birds, and then in the morning they wake up and have to be, well, they're very active. So yes, we do hear them quite a lot in the morning, and also late in the afternoon. But generally when you're next to a dam, there's so much water, there will be more birds, so we will also hear more birds. We can hear hyenas in the background on our right hand side, but I think it comes from Little Gary. It's always nice to hear hyenas in the morning as well. That crocodile is still crossing the dam. Yeah, something which is also on my bucket list is to see the great migration in the Serengeti and in the Masai Mara, and look at those big crocodiles there. They often catch Egyptian geese, the bird that we were hearing right now, when they come drink or looking for food next to the water. So how they will do that? The crocodile have a very powerful tail, so they will jump themselves by just swinging their tail, and it will propel the crocodile forward and ambush the whatever it's hunting. Okay, so I think we spent quite a large amount of time here. We will continue and see what we can find a bit forward. I don't drive on Chitwa quite a lot, so it will be nice for me to check around. Maybe find that cheetah again that Lauren saw yesterday. Okay, so we drive around and see if we can pick up on any tracks. Hyena tracks, lots of hyena tracks. Just wanted to check there quickly. It's always nice to look at tracks in the morning because there's not a lot of cars that drove down the road yet, so you can clearly see the tracks, which is nice. It looks like the clouds are going away a bit, so I think it's going to be a nice sunny and warm day today. So I'm just going through a little gully here. I hope the signal will be okay. And we back up. Quite excited to do the road here. I didn't see a cheetah for a long time, so I'm not sure if the cheetah is still on Chitwa, but it would be nice if we get lucky and see it. So we'll look around. The good thing is that Darby was with Lauren yesterday, so we know the area where the cheetah was, so we can scratch around that area.
Quite the morning, everyone. We got Tavangumi, but what we didn't get was signal. We tried very, very hard to work it, but I do believe he's now moved into what should be a signal zone. I hope. So we're now racing all the way back round there to try and see if we can pick him up again. He was looking very gorgeous. But I don't know. We're just going to try and work it again. Close to Aubrey's Road, and Aubrey's Road should be absolutely fine for us now. Tavangumi is still spending time in his little sort of triangle, but the triangle's getting bigger, and he seems to just love Sydney's Dam. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work for us, which is really unfortunate. A lot happens at Sydney's Dam. Why is that? One, it's a big water body. Two, it's a huge open clearing. Three, it's the crossway between the Mangalepi, Bushwalk, Djuma and Simbambili. It's sort of the dam between four properties, which means it gets a lot of animal traffic, from elephants to antelope to predators. It's a very productive little area. The western sector of Djuma is very barren of water in winter. There's no chelapans, there's no guaripans, there's nothing. All the little puddles have dried up. So really, Sydney's Dam is that one guaranteed water point in the west, which is why lots of animals frequent there, especially in winter. It's a gorgeous water body. We have gone live there occasionally if we can maybe get up into the dam wall. But Tavangumi's on the eastern side of that, so we are going to try and pick him up again. I just need to put my foot down. Drive a tad faster to get there in time. I don't know if you want to pass that on to Cedric Jarrett. The Talamatis are a Torchwood Dam. He should get signal there. I know he's on the Eastern Channel, so you probably won't hear that update. Interesting. Talamatis moved east yesterday. I wonder where the Nkohumas went. I'm going to guess south, but that's just an educated guess. They're moving within meters of one another. Completely aware of one another.
Do you want me to still try to keep it for you?
Your Samolmo's on the Bushwalk cut line from Aubrey's. Have you still got him?
Yeah, I'm on the western side of Aubrey still, in the block. In the middle of the block, he's going south, but it's not going closer to Aubrey's road yet.
Copy. Bushwalk side or Djuma side?
Yeah, Djuma. We in Djuma, and we just went 200 meters west of Aubrey's road in the block.
Copy, copy. I'm on the fire break now. Will I see your mover?
No, just check my tracks, and then you can follow my tracks.
Copy, copy. Okay, this may be a bit of a mission. Do you see his tracks? Okay, we're gonna look for tracks. If he goes more west, I don't think we'll get signal. It's really, really unfortunate. There's a whole section of the reserve for some reason that we're missing out on. There's also female tracks. I wonder if Kara's around here too. You can always see fresh vehicle tracks turning off. Come on, Tavangumi, I know lots. We had him, but luckily he got mobile and he's now come back into Djuma. Yes! Animals crossing to Djuma.
Nick. Yeah, welcome back with us. That was a bird flying now. I think it was with a snake maybe. So I see it on the tree. I will try to reposition and we can have a look. I'm not sure what it was. It was quite quick. It looked like maybe a fish eagle caught something there. It looked like a stick to me. Sorry, just moved a little bit too much now. It looked like a stick. So that was confusing. Because fish eagle will do eat snakes or reptiles. And now this one is just playing with a stick. It's quite cool though. So we did go check where we heard the hyenas calling when we were at the dam. But, lost his stick, but we didn't see anything. I think it's on maybe Little Gowrie. Oh, I thought we saw a kill now, but no. It is a beautiful bird. They have a wingspan of about 2 meters, which is very big. And I think they weigh about 2.5 kilograms. And they feed on fish, obviously, but also reptiles. man-eater lizard, for example. I think Roel was with an immature fish eagle earlier, so it's good to see an adult now. But listen, yes, exactly. He can use the stick to clean his beak, to rub the beak on the side of a stick, which is correct. You see that quite often. But it was funny that he moved from one area to the other area with the stick, and this is what confused us. I thought he got a snake. Yeah, so I think you saw a juvenile one earlier, so now it's good to see an adult. As you can see, juvenile fish eagle generally have more black spot on their chest, and then it turns completely white on the chest.
Where are you now?
It's a bit sad that we can't really see it from the other side because the sun would have been nice and shining on that beautiful bird there. So we're not very far from the dam now, so there's always two fish eagles that we see here. This one is probably one of them. Just hoping that he might call now. That would be nice to hear. Busy cleaning himself. Yeah, this is what we do sometimes when we can't find the big animals. We try to look for birds as well. Okay, we'll sit a little bit longer here to see if he moves, and then we will continue driving around Chitwa.
Hi, I'm Dee from the south coast of England. Today I was told I have won the most amazing prize to go to Marataba. Oh, I can't believe it. I became hooked on WildEarth last year when I was trying to escape COVID, and animals are my thing. I just love them and I love what WildEarth does. So that's why I wanted to become an explorer. Just so looking forward to going out to Marataba. Want to do a walking safari. Thank you so much, WildEarth.
WildEarth Explorers. It's in your nature. The importance of forests cannot be underestimated. Over 1 billion people live in and around forests, depending on them for fuel, food, medicine, and building materials. The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, is the national implementer for a program called LEAF. The LEAF program makes use of indigenous forests grown on school properties to teach pupils about biodiversity. This directly instills a sense of ownership of the natural surroundings and reconnects children with our biomes and heritage. WESA needs your help to bring nature back to schools. Ask your school to join the program through the link on their website. Together with WESA, you can help take this incredible program to schools across the country.
Okay, there's another big male coming in from our left here. Another big male, look at this.
This is the one. Now you're going to see sparks fly, guys. Guys, it doesn't get better than this, eh? Yes. Unbelievable. Africa, I love you, eh?
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
All right, so we've checked the dam. There isn't any tracks or anything around the dam. So what we're doing now is we're looping around back towards where those lines were left yesterday or were last seen, and then see from there we can find tracks to sort of figure out which way they could have gone. And then we'll just see what other interesting stuff or animals can we find along the way between here and there. Erica, you're asking how do we tell or how do we know if a track is fresh? There are a lot of stuff or a lot of elements that will help us, so we try and gather as much information as possible. I don't think you'd easily tell by looking at one track, so what you'd also have to do is, if you see a certain set of tracks, maybe walking along the road, to keep walking and following those tracks and see more evidence and get as much information as possible. Like because of the winds, we sometimes get to tell if the track is withered, and you can see that that track isn't fresh. If there are other tracks on top of that track, whether it be a bird or a small nocturnal creature like a genet or a civet or anything that could have walked at night, so that'll sort of tell us how long ago that was. There are animals that are active at night, and there are animals that are active during the day and all that stuff. For example, if tracks are on the road, and there are some tracks of just the doves on them, or these francolins that are walking on the roads, because at the first break of light, that is before the sun rises, the doves and these birds come and walk on the road to look for the grass seeds and all that. So if we find the lion's tracks on top of the dove's tracks, we therefore know that these lions walked this morning, because the doves would have walked there before sunrise, just as it got light, and then the lions walked after it. But if the dove's tracks are then on top of the lions, it could mean that the lions could have walked sometime during the night, and then early mornings when the dove came down to one place and then see the tracks, but sometimes you just have to gather as much information. All right, we'll keep searching, and then we'll send you guys over to Lauren for now. Or if you guys have a look off to our left, I hope they stick around pretty quickly for the camera. There is a kudu quite behind a lot of thicket, as you can see, busy feeding on this tamboti tree, which is quite toxic for us as humans. It's quite very, very poisonous, but the kudu does not seem to be bothered by that at all. It is one of the few trees that even in our tradition, and I'm a Shangaan speaking person, we never cut or used as firewood, because even when the tree is dry, the sap in it has got a white sap that if you cut it, you get to see that sap. Even if it's dry, the smoke still is irritating to the skin. And so we were forbidden as kids to ever collect the wood of this tree. And yet we have kudu that are busy feeding on it. I can see just the two for now. There's something just about a kudu that I still can't figure out what it is, but it's got this very distinct type of character, and I think it's fascinating. Sometimes, and I'm actually surprised that these males have stuck around this long, most of the times you find males, they just run. You can see that young male's horns have not done the full twist yet, so he's still young. You know what I like about these animals? I mean, if you look at the kudu and the zebra, they're all of different color. So I just want to see if maybe I can reposition the vehicle. Maybe might get a different angle. Let me try forward a bit. If we don't get any decent view, we might just maybe move on. Yeah, I think let's carry on. It's quite thick where these young males are, but hopefully we'll find some more animals up here. I was saying, it's interesting if you think about it, how the animals are different in coloration and in patterns and all that. And if you look at the kudu, it's a different color compared to the zebra, which is a different color compared to the buffalo and elephants, or which is also different to the impalas or the wildebeest or the giraffe and all that. But the lions and the leopards as well. If you've ever noticed, wherever these animals are, they all seem to blend in perfectly well, without a doubt, without a problem. It's just, it's insane to think all those colors, but all still manage to blend in somehow. So we're still looking for lions. Haven't found any tracks yet. Hopefully we'll find some tracks very soon. So we'll send you guys to Lauren for now, and then we'll carry on looking for these lions, any signs of them.
This has been one of the toughest mornings. Even BK just said to me, Lauren, this is hard. It's been very hard. But we have Tavangumi. Hello, you handsome boy. You are just too too handsome. He's a big boy, especially when you've been spending time with the likes of Maribs and the females. He's going to be a huge male when he's territorial. He's not territorial yet, but he's going to be huge. His tracks are already massive. For his age, they are really, really big. Sometimes with young males, you can actually mistake them for a female because they're small. But oh no, not Tavangumi. He's hunting, so we've had to sort of navigate. Oh, okay, no, sorry, forget I just said that. That's how leopards are so difficult to find these days, and the northwest corner is just so tricky for us. Sometimes the signal's okay, sometimes it's not. I don't understand, but we've made it work. Beaks, we can chillax. When you try and you start your story, you need to see it through, and this was our story today, so we've seen it through and we've got him, and it's so lovely to have him on Djuma. He's just on Sandy Patch Road, his usual haunt. Davi and I once had him at Galago Pan, and that's the furthest east I've ever seen him. He touches into Simbambili, touches into the southwest of Bushwalk. Bless me. But he really isn't pushing that far east yet. He's clearly meeting some resistance, or he's not ready to explore. But I do have an interesting update for you that I forgot to give you yesterday because we ended up finding a cheetah. Insele is on Arathusa right now on a kill. And I asked, are you sure it's Insele? And they said, yes, Lauren. I mean, she is quite easy to identify, to be honest. She is. She's got one eye. So apparently Insele is on Arathusa, which is really quite mind-boggling. I think some leopards are feeling pressurized, some are having to move. I'm not entirely sure it's easy to be a leopard in the northern sector of the Sabi Sands right now. I mean, if you didn't see his tracks and you didn't have prior knowledge that he was here, you wouldn't see him. I'm just going to blow my nose, everyone. Excuse me. There we go. Oh, video of yours saying well done. Thank you. It was a really tough morning. Lots of bumps and potholes and looping around, but we've done it. We've done it. I like to start once I get on to the start of a story. I like to follow it through as much as you can. And it's hard, and I see this with Tristan. I love working with Tristan. We work really, really well together. And, you know, once you do pick up on tracks or smells or audio, and you know that animal is there, it's really hard to let go. You want to find it. And it's really hard when to know, we just need to give up now. You know, it's really not getting lucky. And this is when you start to really learn the game paths and the two tracks. When you first arrive, when you're a newbie here, you'll just know the roads. You'll have hotel access, and you'll know the dams. That's the first thing you learn. But once you've been here a while and you've been following animals a long time, you start to learn not only, hello boy, stop looking at me like that, to make me shy. You start to learn the two tracks and the animal paths. Not only will you learn the two tracks and the animal paths, but you'll learn their preferred ones. For example, the two track, or the animal path, actually, it's not a two track yet, that Tavangumi loves to use is this one that I'm on right now. I've had him here many, many times, and it's almost like it's his little route. I know the two tracks that Tangana loves, Kalamba loves. It doesn't mean they're always going to be on that two track, but you do start to learn off the beaten track, if that makes sense. You start to learn the way that animals move off the main roads. You start to learn termite mounds that they really enjoy using. You start to pick up on trees that they start using, drainage lines that they start using. And it's an interesting development. You can't learn all that at the start. Of course you can't. It's progress. It's the process. But after being out here a long period of time, which I'm grateful for, you really do start to figure that out. And naturally, Tavangumi is not territorial yet, so his movements are going to change. It's inevitable. Now, the visuals are not great, but he's still there, and he will, I imagine he'll move. It is just nice to see him. We were seeing him for a long time. We were seeing him for a while. And then he started exploring into Bushwalk more. Zimbabwe more. He's exploring. He was born in February 2018. He's about 3.5 now. He's really, really sort of not territorial yet, but definitely a nomadic dispersal male who's finding his paws. And he has got a spot pattern of 2-2 for anyone that's interested. We always get asked this, but I never know. But for some reason, I remember that Tavangumi is a 2-2. But I got asked the other day unique features about him, and Lisa, I actually saw that you clarified some of his rosettes have got dots in them, which is not really a feature of a leopard, it's more a jaguar-like feature. And I'd never really noticed that before. And I think he's got a really distinctive face. But Lisa Antel, thank you for pointing that out. He has got some really obvious rosettes that look almost jaguar-like. And I'll never forget the day I posted Tingana on my Instagram, social media. And all these keyboard warriors, these nasty, nasty people on the internet, you know the ones. Someone wrote, "This is not a leopard. Are you stupid? This is clearly a jaguar." And it was Tingana. Oh, I didn't even reply. I didn't even have a reply. They were convinced that I had misidentified the species. And if you think of Tavangumi right now, he's in a really highly contested area in terms of leopards. I mean, you have Owati, Tortoise Pen, Flat Rock, Hosanna, Angola if he goes further north. It's a highly contested land. But we've came this far, so we are going to sit here a little bit longer with Mr. Tavangumi.
Welcome back with us. Very nice. That's what Lauren got Tavangumi there. Seems to be quite quiet here. We saw some lion trucks, but that crossed. Yeah, there was quite a lot of lion trucks. Quite a lot of lion truck around. But obviously there was one of a pride here. Oh, we were trying to catch that little steenbok running around. Yeah, I'm going to just stop right here and just listen. Yeah, I think I will drive towards the dam again. And then head back to Djuma. We heard that the Talamatis are actually on Torchwood, but I don't think we'll get signal there. So maybe what we will do, we'll try a cheetah cut line and see what happened in that section of the reserve. Yeah, sorry, we had to stop here just that the signal just dropped. So we just want to make sure that we still have signal. As soon as we can move, we will start moving. We can still hear all the birds from the dam all the way to here. It is quite nice actually.
We've repositioned ever so slightly, and it was a good idea, if I must say so myself. Oh my goodness, he's one of the most beautiful leopards I've seen in a long time. Hosanna-esque. Now, I know some of you are new, and you may not know the sort of whole history of our leopards. So if you don't, I'll give you an update, and some of you do, but Tavangumi is essentially a distant relative of Karula, and Karula was a very successful leopardess, a dominant leopardess in this area for a long time. Tandi's mama, Kalamba's grandmama, and Hosanna's mom. She had a huge territory, very successful leopardess, and Karula had a sister, and that sister was called Sazeka. Not this Sazeka that we once seen. Sazeka's quite a common name. I think Tandi was once called Sazeka at one point. And Sazeka had a daughter. So that would be Karula's niece. And this was a Nileti female. Now the Nileti female had a son. And the son was the Nileti male. That male, the Nileti male, is Tavangumi's father. Tavangumi's mother is a Scotia female. Now, we don't follow these leopards in wild... Well, we do follow them, but we don't see them, on WildEarth, because we're in the northern sector of the sands. The sands is huge. These animals sort of come, or these individuals are much further south. But there's a relation there to Karula, and it's amazing just to backdate it. I never got the pleasure of meeting Karula, but of course we celebrate her. She really was the queen of Djuma for a long time. A very relaxed leopardess, from what everyone tells me, the footage that we have. He's a very distant relative of the Karula lineage. So he's got the genes. Boy, you've got the genes. And as I was saying earlier, it's a highly contested area. There's a lot of pressure. Hukamuri, one of my favorite leopards, one of the best leopards. Really, he was just the best. The gangster of the West. We used to love our Hukamuri sightings, but he was feeling the pressure from the western side. Not so much on Djuma, but he was slightly feeling the pressure from all these new males, big, strong, dominant males that are coming in. And that is to be believed what pushed him into the Mangileti. And it was actually myself and... I can't remember who was on camera that saw Hukamuri go into the Mangileti for the last time. And he was injured. I remembered some of you were like, no, it's a leaf. No, it was a huge gash on his shoulder blade, chest area. He was feeling the pressure. He wasn't doing so well. And unfortunately, his body was found, as we all know. And it was also said that he wasn't in good condition. So Tavangumi's here, and I hope he's here to stay. Absolutely, I love this boy, but it's a highly contested area. He's really going to have to find his spot that he can work and slowly start to become territorial. I'm not a leopard, believe it or not. But I think if he does go to Bushwalk, there could be space for him between Bushwalk and Djuma. The more west he goes, the more dominant males he's going to meet. And Klangula is a dominant male up in Bushwalk, but Bushwalk is huge. There definitely is a vacuum. You just need to find it, boy. And it's amazing that we're able to figure out the lineages and the relations, and it gets complex. But it's easy to do. If it's the leopards from the sands we can normally follow. Leopards are moving constantly. We really only get to just spend time with the resident territorial ones. It is so nice to relax with them after a hairy morning. No, we heard him saw. I think it was Sabi and I actually. I heard him saw. And I remember when Hosanna was at that stage, not territorial, but that instinct, that biological behavior is coming out, sawing. Other leopards will hear that. They will learn of his presence now. We will be doing this scoosh, scoosh scent marking. The behaviors are coming through. He's just not quite established himself. His hormone level will be changing. Physiologically, he will be developing. Hello. This is BK. He really wants to, well, he's been wanting to meet you for some time. Craig, that's an absolutely impossible question, and no, I don't. The Sabi Sands is just a small sort of private concession land area. And it does sit on the western fringes of the Greater Kruger, but the Greater Kruger is huge. It's a huge area. We don't traverse there. We're just sort of in that northern sector of the Sabi Sands. If you bring up the Google, I was away to say, the Google. Bring up the Google and you actually search the Sabi Sands, you'll be able to see where it sits. But what you have to remember is that leopards are very shy and elusive by nature. I mean, you go to Sri Lanka, I went to Yala National Park, and you know, to see a leopard and actually spend time with it, it's like an amazing thing. Like, my goodness. The Sabi Sands are just very well known for the leopards. They are habituated and they're sort of easy-ish to track and find and learn about. But that's not the norm, if that makes sense. So I think to establish population numbers for the Greater Kruger, that's going to take a lot of work. I know that Panthera are working really hard here. We collect a scat. Mulwati's scat has been collected, by the way, by my good friend Victoria. It's not been processed or analysed or shipped off yet, but good news, it's been collected. That's going to answer a lot of questions. But Craig, no, the Greater Kruger, that's a really large area. And they're constantly moving. If you remember when John T was here, I think it was Davi and I again, we had Tavangumi, but he went into no signal area, which he seems to love doing. And on our way home, we bumped into a young male that I couldn't identify. I was completely thrown and confused. And I know that my ID skills are not good in infrared. I find it hard. And it turns out it was a new male that had come from the Timbavati side. And he was known. He was completely habituated, completely relaxed, definitely been around vehicles. And he just passed into Djuma. He had a good old sniff of Wendy. checked out Davy and I and never seen again. There's lots of movements, a lot more than we think. Dispersal, death, relocation for the nomads. That's why I have really no idea of the population numbers. It's really nice to relax. I'm going to take one of my 3 layers off as we sit here with Mr. Tavangumi.
Kate Gilman Williams is an 11-year-old girl from Austin, Texas, and we think she's amazing. At only 7 years of age, Kate went on safari and since then has become part of a new generation of kids who are fighting for animals. She has written a book, offered extensive support for a number of conservation projects, and recently teamed up with Microsoft to start a club. Kate believes that advocacy has no age limit and that if she waits until she's an adult, then it may be too late. Join Kate, who has traveled from Texas to sit with Lauren at the fire to discuss her work and how her generation can become part of the solution.
Hello everyone, my name is Trishala and I am a naturalist and safari guide here in Djuma Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands in South Africa. I think that the information that we provide and most importantly the questions that you ask give both you and I a really good idea of what's going on. My friend Fernando here, he's a flat-necked chameleon and I love them. They're just these gems that you manage to find in the bush.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
I've seen something I've never seen here before. Look at these cubs. One is crossing the river. It's being washed away, unfortunately, but I'm sure the mother is going to save her. Look at that. How beautiful. Look at that. One crossing, 2 to go. How cool is this?
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
My name is Lauren and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
Yeah, welcome back with us. Currently on Cheetah Cut Line. So we heard that the Calamatis was on Torchwood earlier now. So that means that the other pride went west. Unfortunately, we don't get a lot of signal on Torchwood. But the good thing is that it's not too far from Djuma, so hopefully they will start moving back around here. Maybe tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, so didn't see much, very quiet morning for us. It was nice to see some crocodile at the dam, at Chitwa Dam. Apart from that, and the fish eagle, very slow morning. Very nice to hear that Lauren is with Tavangumi. It is a very cool cat. Yeah, there's lots of lion tracks everywhere. The Calamatis was seen at Torchwood Dam earlier. They're probably still there. We didn't see many leopard tracks though. I think the lions have been very active in that section last night and this morning. But we're still bumbling around and see what we can find. There's some lance trucks going down that road. There was lance truck going south. So it have been very active last night, I guess, here. That doesn't look bad actually. Maybe they did made a loop and went back to Torchwood. Let's see, but I'm just going to continue on that road just to check. Maybe there's more lions on Djuma. Sound like I've been very, very active last night, above Pride. Okay, so we'll continue here, see if we can pick up anything on Central Road. In the meantime, we'll send you to Ruel, who's also on a bumble.
Alright, so we did manage to find tracks of those lions, and it looks like they have crossed out of our property, headed further north into our neighboring reserve. And on the other hand, somebody just found a few members of the African wild dogs, so we just want to see if we can quickly make our way into that area. Hopefully that by the time we get there, those animals will still be there, so that for you guys to get to see. Apparently, they found tracks of these dogs on top of our vehicle tracks from this morning. So we must have missed them just by a few minutes. I haven't seen wild dogs in this property in quite some time. It would be very nice to get to see these dogs. Hopefully when we get there, they'll still be within the area so that we can be able to follow them. They're such fascinating creatures to get to watch. Also very rare, which makes it a bit more special to get an opportunity to see an African wild dog. All right.
He's not sleeping. There are impala behind him, and apparently he was stalking them when we first arrived, but we could hear the snorting, the alarm calls, which means, my boy, you got spotted. Literally. They spotted the spots. And that's typical leopard behavior. Immediately, that's why impala do that. They snort. They're standing their ground. Leopards need to rely on that element of surprise, as you all know. If that element of surprise is gone, it's very rare. I mean, maybe you'll see a young leopard like Maribes continually trying. But generally speaking, leopards know game is up. It's over. We can't surprise them anymore. They know I'm here. So what they tend to do is just go flat like this, just rest. And naturally, the impala over time forget. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to take my jacket off. It's getting hot. The impala forget about the threat. The imminent threat is gone. They can't see him. He's hidden. He's in the grass. They most likely can't smell him. It's windy and he's far enough away. They can't hear him. He's not doing anything. So the threat goes. And the impala think, oh, we won. We snorted, we alarm called, he's gone. He's not actually gone. And he may even try for the same herd a little bit later. And that's generally typical leopard behavior. They either walk away or they just go quiet for a while, hoping that the impala forget. It genuinely is so nice to see him. Shreya, you're asking at what age do leopards... I'll wait till Jared repeats that. Oh, he hears something. Stop growing. I don't know how to answer that question. I have no idea. In terms of skeleton, most likely when they sort of become territorial. But in terms of muscle mass, they will continue to build and build and build in their sort of prime years. And then naturally, like Tingana, or maybe Tingana's not the best example actually, Tandy, they will lose muscle mass as they get older. Not lose condition, but lose muscle mass. But in terms of the skeleton, I would imagine once they reach their prime years, maybe about 5, but I don't actually know. Tavangumi is definitely going to get bigger, but I don't know if skeletally he will. But he's definitely going to develop more muscle, shoulder blades, the muscles around that scapula. The dewlap's going to get bigger. But in terms of their skeleton, I don't actually know. He's now facing that herd of impala again. I don't think we've got a view, but I can just see the swooshing tails of the impala. They're feeding again. They're relaxed again. Crayon design. Whew. Scariest encounter. These questions are always really tough. I mean, it wasn't, I wouldn't say scary as such, but sort of surprise moment where I haven't felt entirely at ease would be in camp. I was alone at the vehicle base, and in the morning, we don't have so many lights on, you're working with a head torch. Torch is crucial for life in camp. And I think I was maybe fueling or cleaning the car or doing something. No one else was awake yet. I'm an early bee. I like to have my coffee before I interact with other humans. BK's the same. BK and I are always in the kitchen in the morning with our coffees. And I turned around. I think I heard something at the vehicle bay in camp, and I just turned around, and there was Shadulu. Just strolling right past me. It's dark. It's long before drive. Not a single human is around, and I think it wasn't entirely scary, but I think that moment I was extremely startled. I did not expect to turn around and there to be a leopard right behind Wendy. So I got a fright. But naturally, Shadulu's very relaxed. I think they walk her a lot in the West. She's quite easy on foot, especially in comparison to Tlalamba. My goodness, Tlalamba on foot. She's impossible. But Shadulu's quite easy, and she was relaxed. She just looked at me and she continued walking right past my bedroom. But I think, that's maybe the moment I got the most startled. But I've never had a particularly aggressive encounter with leopards. Tandy has snarled a few times, but that is very Tandy-esque behavior. Sometimes she just snarls for the sake of snarling. But the minute you see sort of the tail twitching and the snarling coming together as a package, you know that that's upset body language. But not really had a scary moment with leopards, I think. Hope that answered your question. It's a tough one. The longer you're out here, the more memories you build, and it's tough to pick out those single sightings. But this stint for me has really been a leopard stint, and it's been incredible. I've had wonderful lion sightings too, but wow, it's been a fantastic stint. But apparently 2 nights ago, Mulwati was on Mala Mala, and the vehicles spent quite a long time with him at night time, and they all reported that he was very relaxed, which has been reported regularly. He seems to be very calm at night time. It seems to be during the day that he's not great. But maybe he's getting better, and he was on Mala Mala. What a lovely morning it's turned into. We're going to continue to sit here with Tavangumi as long as we can.
Yeah, we did a little loop now from Central Road, and very quiet in our area, maybe because the lions was very active here. Lions truck going up and down Central Road. So I think maybe last night they walked down to go quite close to Garry Dam and then walked back east to Torchwood. But we'll still look around here. Maybe 1 or 2 lions stayed on Djuma. We never know. Sometimes it happens that we can get separated. We're currently very close to a little drainage line. So we just stop here to listen. You can see you can hear little crested francolin calling there. Not sure if there's something bothering it or it's just calling. I think so. What we'll do now is do that loop, go on Vulture's Nest Road, and then turn left towards Garry Dam and check that side. Very, very quiet morning for us, but those does happen apparently, so. Okay, I think we'll continue on that road and see what we can find.
Alright, so the dogs are just in front of us. So hopefully we'll get a chance to get a glimpse. We've got them running along the road.
Down and rule. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's tracks of living pride on any road, just on this ground. Catch it off and look at it,
You guys look at that. So we got these two now right next to the road. I have not seen a wild dog in our property in a long time. Just to see these guys back is actually exciting, and it looks like they're full-bellied. If you look at their stomachs, you'll see the stomachs are big now. Possible that they could have hunted sometime this morning. And I wonder if it is just the three of them, or did they split from a pack? Or if they did, which pack is it? And all that sort of stuff. It's not going to be easy to try and keep up with them out here, but we'll see if we can. There's a lot of antelope around this area where it is quite open, so maybe they might also attempt a hunt. If they start running fast, we might lose them at any given point. So you can still see one of them, all of them down here. There's a road coming up, and I think they might go and cross that road. So if you guys just bear with me for a little while I try and make our way out of this thick bush. You can see them crossing right in front of the vehicle right there. Megan, we finally get to see these painted guys out here. It's not a lot of times that we get this opportunity. I mean, wild dogs are fascinating. They passed the third one there in the background. They're just fascinating animals. Like, to be able to try and keep up is more challenging than to get a sighting of them. And sometimes they're picking up the pace, like right now. I wonder what they see. Animals are headed east on the block north of power lines. I wonder where they're going to end up. I wonder where they're going to settle for the day. It's going to be interesting to see, because I think they've hunted and they've had their fill. So what's left is for them to find a nice place where they can lay down. Approaching Devonshire Crossing. Where they can lay down and settle for the day. So hopefully they get to settle down in a very nice place. That's very interesting. So if this was part of a pack in the sands, that just gets to show it goes to show how far do these animals really travel. Yeah, so they're from the sands and we're seen on Djuma, just to show the distance, the range that these animals get to cover in just a couple of days. your position, just west of that big leadwood. You should get our visual in this clearing behind here, just live. Yeah, then all three animals have now gone static, maybe about 30, 40 meters west of North River Road, north of power lines. What I like about the dogs is that they are one of the most successful predators when it comes to hunting, and yet also one of the most sociable animals. Because yesterday we were talking about how other animals would stick around with an injured or a wounded animal, but these guys don't necessarily stick around. They also look after and they fend for that one animal. So they're very, very nice, very interesting animals to see and get to spend some time with. So after all that energy and running and all that stuff, finally they decide to settle down. I would not be surprised if they settled down in an area like this. It's quite shaded with a lot of quarry bushes that will provide the shade even when the sun progresses, which means if they settle down here, there's also very close to some hunting grounds or very good hunting opportunities. Quite a lot of antelopes. We are very close to the Timbawati River, and I've seen in this area a lot. There are impalas and all the other antelopes. So maybe they might settle down here for the day and then attempt another hunt later on this afternoon. Dr. Rocky Balboa, you're asking if a single wild dog can one take down a baboon? It's going to be tricky. I honestly think a baboon would win that fight. But what I think was going to happen is that the baboon would easily climb up a tree to avoid conflict. But if it had to be one-on-one, I would put my money on the baboon. They are very vicious animals, baboons, and very dangerous, very big fangs. But if it was a pack, then maybe the pack would have the upper hand. Look at those big ears listening out there. Sure, the dogs could have heard something that we haven't, and that's why they're looking in the direction. You can see the other ones even got up to try and have a look. And I've seen in most cases hyenas tend to follow wild dogs because they know it's that one opportunity that they might have of scavenging something from these predators. And I've also seen some vultures flying above the dogs. Or there is a hyena in the mix. That is why those dogs were up. The hyena just came down. I think they just realized that there isn't any food or anything to fight for or worth fighting for. There we go. That is a spotted hyena right there. going behind a thicket, trying to keep its distance and hope that these dogs will move. In fact, if there is a patient creature out here, it is the hyena. Will sit and wait as long as it takes to be able to get a chance at a meal. And these dogs provide the perfect opportunity. Quiet.
One thing that WildEarth strives to achieve is to connect kids with our natural world. One person who agrees with this is Kate, an 11-year-old girl who founded Kids Can Save Animals to help inspire her generation to help mend the planet. Her motto is that kids may be young, but age does not define your impact. Kate is coming all the way from America to join us at Djuma for a live safari. She wants to connect with all of the WildEarth kids, answer your questions, and help you understand that there are plenty of ways that you can make a difference regardless of your age. So join us on the 4th of August at 2:30 p.m. Central African Time for a very special kids safari. As one of the industry's best and Fagasa Indoors training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests. The full-length career course results in a Fagasa accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Moore Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July, don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
You are cheeky. That was a brave decision. Amber Eyes is... Oh. That is so magic. That was absolutely wonderful. Amber Eyes just gave that cub an enormous hug.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Our boy is terribly sleepy. But his head is up. It's quite overcast now, so it's actually quite cool. It's really the perfect sleeping conditions if you're a leopard and you've been awake all night. I've never seen Tavangumi hunt yet. Of course he hunts, we haven't seen it. He had a baboon up a tree. I think Rule was just talking about baboons. He had a baboon up a tree near Hartlepool not so long ago. So somehow he managed to get a baboon, and it was not a small one. Oh, hello. I could not believe when our director Jared said, Rule's got the dogs Andrew had. I said, I think we misheard. Sometimes the comms break up. But is it Cedric that's got the dogs? And he said, no. Rule. So it just shows you how non-territorial dogs really are and how far they can move, which is such a challenge to protecting them. Okay, we're back in stalking mode. We're heading in the right direction. We're heading south towards Sandy Patch, which is a good thing. It's putting us more in the area of Djuma where we get signal. He's obviously given up on those impala that were behind him. That means it's time to move, everybody. Okay, we're going to do our best to try and keep up with Mr. Tavangumi. For now, over to Rule.
Guys, we are still sitting here with these wild dogs. I do think that they may have finally decided to settle down here, although at any given point an animal could decide to get up and move. But for now, they've just laid down. I can see they keep dropping their heads down. So hopefully this will be the place where they settle down for the whole afternoon, which would mean that in the afternoon's game drive, we would be fortunate enough to come and spend some time with them again. Hopefully get here before they start moving. Guys, I think these dogs are done for the day. So we'll send you guys to Lauren, and then we'll head out down south and then see if we'll be able to find anything else for you guys in the next half hour.
He's on the move, but not really stalking so much. He has just turned off in the direction I didn't want him to. But he's hungry. There are lots of impala around. This is Sandy Patch Impala Plains. I mean, one hopes when you name an area Impala Plains that there are going to be lots of impala. This is exactly where we used to have him every time I've gone live with Tavangumi, apart from that one time at Galagopanis. From here, let's try and get round the peaks. It's really the same area he's working, and you often find that with young males that are not territorial, even Maribs. Maribs really on Torchwood Chitwa, doesn't go far. He's a big boy. Tavangumi is a big leopard. I think he's going to be huge when he stops growing, which I don't know when that is. Good question. I'm going to research that. Boom shack, predators, not so much. Migrations happen all across the globe. It's a really interesting topic that actually fascinates me. From the bat migration, the wildebeest migration, and the Masai Mara is obviously a very famous one. The white-eared cob migration of Ethiopia and Somalia. It's been something that's actually fascinated animals for a really, really long time. It's a fascinating phenomena, but it doesn't tend to be for predators. It tends to be more like birds, the Arctic tern, for example, insects, the dragonflies, the monarch, all the other... Do we see something, or are we just chilling? I think we're just chilling. And all the other sort of prey species that I just mentioned. Elephants make great movements. The Asian elephants have made a huge movement recently that's been on the news. They've been followed by China. Zooplankton, they make daily migrations. But really, it's not predators. Normally the predators stay exactly... You will find high densities of predators where there are multiple prey species that they can survive on. There's actually a rattlesnake migration. Have you ever heard of that? It's on the Great Plains of Canada, on the western side of Canada, and it's really peculiar, but said to be quite illuminating. The snakes migrate, very ambitiously so, each spring and fall. I love that word, the fall. And the average trip by this animal is said to be about 5 miles. It's not very far. But a previous study did actually say 33 miles, so the jury's out on that. But they are said to make great movements, especially for a reptile. Reptiles are not known to migrate, at least terrestrial ones. Sea turtles do travel large distances, but not terrestrial rattlesnakes or reptiles. And the driving logic is cold winter. The temperatures are so difficult for reptiles. And also the sort of lack of dendrites. And that's why they make this move. And because of this, you get really, really large aggregations of them. And apparently it just looks like a huge tangle of snakes. Like a ball of wool, but all snakes. It's a huge aggregation, and it can get quite aggressive. They call it a serpentine. Because all of the snakes are trying to make this, what they call migration at one time. It's actually quite fascinating if you do Google it. But in terms of predators, sorry, I got distracted. No, the predators are not known to make great migrations. Okay, we're going to sit here a little bit longer with our male leopard.
Yeah, welcome back with us. We did find some dwarf mongoose. We're currently on Zoe's Road. I saw them here before, so I think we spent lots of time in that termite mound there. They were very entertaining little creatures. They are the smallest carnivores in the bush here. And they feed on lots of different prey, from termites to centipedes, scorpions, reptiles. So they have a big variety of food. They are very small. The largest individual would be the dominant female. The dominant female is actually the one controlling the group, even over the males. So they, as you can see, very small. Weigh up to 300 grams. And we can live up to 6 years old. There's two smaller ones on the left, just at the bottom. At least one small one there. Maybe these are... There's a younger one just on the left. They're generally quite shy when you approach them. They like to go back in the hole or run away. But as soon as you switch off the vehicle, they tend to come back and look at you. So obviously they have lots of predators. They have to be careful from birds of prey, small carnivores, and snake as well. So they will spend the night inside the termite mound and come out like now, just to warm up and start foraging around. Yeah, so we decided to come try Zoe's Road, maybe for pick up on some tracks, or it's a good section for leopards. But we bumped into these little guys there. They do look very playful sometimes. Now they're busy cleaning themselves, getting ready for the day. How cute is that? It's so nice to look at them in their natural habitat and just do what they do. Yeah, they have very, very cute faces. Obviously, they will have to look in every direction all the time, just to check for predators. They are very entertaining. A bit of scratching there. Someone found something to eat. And yes, you're saying they move so quickly. Yes, it's not the easiest job for Darby now, because we can just be static for a few seconds and then just run quickly on the side. But yes, they move so quickly. And sometimes you drive and they just cross the road so fast, like you always have to be careful. Because you will never see them coming from the grass, you will only spot them while they are on the road. Yeah, so they're very small, 300 grams up to 40 centimeters in length. It's so nice to see them. Yes, I'm pretty sure they're here very often, because last time I was here, about 4 weeks ago, I found them in the same spot. It's so funny, there was a little noise in the tree behind us, so it was looking up. So obviously they have to look in the air as well for all the birds of prey. There was a few of African hawk eagle around here, so 2 times now, 2 days in a row. Nasrin, you would like to know if they would ever hunt at night? Not really. I think it is a bit dangerous for them at night to roam around, so they would prefer to go sleep in the termite mound, I assume, at night to be nice and safe. So now, I think now they just came out from the termite mound to warm up and clean themselves and just get ready for the day. It will be very difficult for them at night with all the predators around, even like the genet, caracal, serval. Okay, so we're going to sit with them a little bit more and enjoy their entertainment.
The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, encourages people to care for the earth. Through innovative projects, they aim to reverse the serious issues that we face in the world today. One of these projects is Green Coast, a proudly South African award for sensitive and well-managed coastal sites. This sustainability project protects our national coastlines while providing unemployed youth with a love for their environment and a hope for the future. WESA is a membership and volunteer-supported organisation. Every supporter is helping to change the only earth we have. Visit our website to see how you can help care for our earth.
Oh, it's going to be in trouble now. Oh, this is unbelievable stuff. Here comes a hippo in too. Go, Impala. There's a hippo coming in. I can't believe what we're seeing here. This is what we normally see in East Africa. It's all over. Hippo leaping at the crocodile now. Everything's gone underwater.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
So the tracks cutting off there, they're headed towards the riverbed, exactly where Nick had parked. So what's going to happen is we're going to maybe check, I think we check further up slowly if they didn't come back onto the road. But one of them is going to get into the river, and then the other vehicle is going to go on the other side of the riverbed, sort of circle. Looks like they're headed back towards Tenant Camp. Most likely we'll come out at the camp. All right, guys, there are tracks of some lions that we've just recently found, and tracks of these lions are on top of our vehicle tracks from this morning, which is quite funny because tracks of the pack was also on top of our vehicle tracks of this morning. Now, when we're making our way back, there are tracks of the whole pride with the youngsters on top of our vehicle tracks. They've now gone down towards the Timbawati River, and I believe we may be a few minutes behind these tracks. So there are at least 3 vehicles in the area all working together to try and see if we will be able to locate or find these lions for you guys before the end of show. So I just want to take a slow drive, double check, because we've driven on this road before. So if there are tracks anywhere on this road, it would mean that those lions now walked recently. So wish us luck. It's actually very nice to learn that the lions or the tracks of them are back in our property. I wonder which way they could have circled or looped around to get back into the central park. And the trackers did say it looks like on those tracks, when they were looking at them, those animals were moving at a quick pace. Peter, you asking if I've seen the interaction between a wild dog and a lion? Yes, I have. About 2.5 or 3 years ago, there was a pack that was denning in the southern side of the reserve, and we were fortunate enough to get there, and the Birmingham Pride showed up at the den site. So it was just lions and dogs running around everywhere with the pups getting into the termite mound and dogs barking and all that stuff. It was quite fantastic to watch, but also a bit worrying because there's pups in the area. It is nice to get to see that. It's one of the reasons why I think the dogs were not showing themselves a lot around our property recently, because the Birmingham Pride numbers are now at over 20 lions, and they've split into different parts of the reserve, with the sub-adults on the one side and the males on the one side and the females with the cubs on the other side. So there's a lot of lion scents almost all over the reserve, and that sort of repels a lot of other predators that know that when there's lions, they get into trouble. So it looks like, and it sounds like from what the information we gathered from the trackers, that these lions are on the move while we are tracking them. So hopefully we get to find them. I'm just hoping that maybe we might get to see one popping out or coming out or crossing this side into our direction. We'll keep looking and then we'll send you guys over to Lauren.
Thank you, wildebeests, for always being here. The famous wildebeests of quarantine. Now, we had to leave Tavangumi, started moving, and it just gets really tricky for us. But I do think he will be in the area for this afternoon. He's hungry, he's stalking, but I do think he's going to be in that sort of vicinity this afternoon, or at least I hope. But you guys are always in the vicinity, aren't you? The wildebeest, we always try and acknowledge them every day. They are incredible, and we have followed this herd. We've had some really interesting times with this group of wildebeest, and they do make very predictable movements. It's not necessarily a migration, but if you do find them in a sort of area that they're not normally in, it is an indicator of sorts that there could be a threat on quarantine, or there's something going on. They do alarm, and they also do run. They can be good indicators. Not as reliable or as rigorous as impala, but still. They are worth watching. They are worth paying attention to. And they're clearly having a lazy day. It's overcast. It's the perfect weather to be lazy. Although it was a bit of a hectic sighting, as we say in South Africa, it was really wonderful to catch up with Tavangumi again. And the Talamatis are at Torchwood Dam, which leaves promise. And the Nkumas are somewhere near, they went west, somewhere close to Gowrie Main Triple M Junction on Arathusa, I believe. So at least we can sort of keep tabs on everybody's movements. No sign of Tandy and Madibs. On Chitwa, I think they're in Torchwood, but now that the Talamatis are at Torchwood Dam, that might actually push them south into Chitwa again, or west into Djuma, which would be unbelievably delightful. Talamatis are everywhere. But it has come to that time of day, everyone. The sun is up, and the sunrise safari has come to an end, but what a good one it has been. From dogs, fish eagles, to Mr. Tavangumi. So thank you everyone for jumping on board. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here with us. Please do join us this afternoon. Until then, goodbye.